The Supercar Challenge is powered by Pirelli, Syntix Innovative Lubricants, Autosportinsurance.com, and IDIS High Definition Surveillance Systems. A cold, wet TT circuit of Assen was the venue for the final round of the IDIS Superlights Challenge 2015. This championship is for rapid sports cars and sports prototypes, and the titles in both the Group 1 and Group 2 categories were undecided. They'd be fought out in extremely tricky conditions. In this show, we report on both races and discover who went home with the IDIS Superlights Challenge title in each division. First, let's get up to speed with our contenders. Leaders in Group 1 are Belgians Luc de Kock and Sam de Jong. Both are new to their CN prototype, a Norma M20 FC. The season started promisingly in the first race at Zandvoort, where Luc de Kock was looking set for the first win of the season, but midway through the sprint race he dropped back with technical issues. The second race at Zandvoort went all wrong for the Deldish Racing driver too, as he spun under braking for Tarzan and got stuck in the gravel. Not such a good season opener after all. On home soil at Zolder, they struck back with 2 wins to close on the championship leaders. And the big leap forward also happened in Belgium. In the 4th round of the championship at Spa, their competitors failed to score any points at all, meaning that Deldish Racing, despite not finishing the second race at Spa, topped the table, coming to the final race weekend here in Assen. I think we've got the best chance of winning the championship, says Luke. We've still got 2 races to go, and I know how that can be. A couple of years ago, I lost the championship 3 laps into the final race. Title gone. So we've still got work to do, but things are looking good. They boast an 11-point advantage, but it could have been so much more had they not dropped out of the second race at Spa.
What
happened in Spa was really a shame. I'd done the sprint race, knew I could win it. The track was damp, that really is my speciality, but unfortunately I got hit in the first corner and there was nothing I can do. So from then on we've had to change tactics. Now our strategy is to try and take as many points as possible, not take any risks, and that's what we're going to do this weekend. The biggest threat to the Belgians winning the championship comes from Basque-Houten Racing. German Jörg Schumacher made his debut this year in a CN prototype, a Wolf GB08. He shares the car with his coach, Dutchman Jo van Splunteren. They've had an excellent season. Jörg almost won the very first race of the season, just a few seconds behind Henk Thees at the line, and he did win the second race of that weekend, the 60-minute Enduro, sharing with Jo van Splunteren, and that allowed them to take the lead in the championship. But the competition stepped up. The Wolf drivers found more and more challenges throughout the season. Still, Jörg Schumacher and Jo van Splunteren maintained their points lead up to the 4th race weekend at Spa. There, Schumacher dropped out of the first race with technical problems, and then to make matters worse, points for 3rd in race 2 were deleted because they started the race on hand-cut slicks, which is not allowed. You must use wet or slicks. The mistake cost them the lead in the championship, and they now have an 11-point deficit coming into Assen. We just want to beat our rivals, really, says Joey. We dropped out the first race at Spa, so we still want to show that we can win races as a duo. It's been a learning season for Jörg, so anything that he accomplishes is already perfect, but winning the race would be even more perfect. So the first race here in Assen, dry track, 30-minute sprint race. Sam de Jong on pole from Jörg Schumacher, and then Rob Campus and Philippe de Klerk on row 2 of the grid. Ready for the start, lights go off, away they go, look at the red car, Rob Campus looking to the inside, Philippe de Klerk going with him. Yellow car in front of us is Ko Kopian. Wow, around the outside, Tim Josen, and contact just in front. And that was David Hotoft in the Norma, the blue and white car, hitting Ko Kopian. And our man Dick Freeberg goes by both of them. Sam de Jong with the lead at the end of lap 1. Tim Josen in the Tartus in 2nd, battling for the championship. Jörg Schumacher in 3rd. Slippery conditions out the back in Osnabrücken. Jörg Schumacher goes out wide and the gravel trap is waiting for him. And he can't escape it. And that is going to cost him a lot of time. Jo van Splunteren knows that is not good news. Jörg Schumacher ends up fourth as Sam de Jonge wins race 1. Deldish extending their lead in the championship to 16 points. Second in the race is Tim Josen, 20 points behind now, and Rob Campus is in third. Sam saying, I saw Jörg stuck in the gravel a few laps into the race. I know it's not right to say it, but I was hoping he'd kind of stay there. But they pulled him out and he still managed to score some points, so we got to finish the job tomorrow. Hopefully luck will be on our side to win the championship. We hopefully will finish the race and make no mistakes. Group 2 is the championship for older generation CN prototypes and sports cars. Belgian Philippe de Klerk's been dominant this season with his Norma M20F with no fewer than 5 wins from the first 8 races. He's built up a 25-point advantage, and that basically means that he only has to finish the first race of the season in Assen to secure the title. That's exactly what he does, winning for the 6th time ahead of Dick Freeberg and David Hotoff. Thus, he is the new champion in the IDIS Superlights Challenge for Group 2. And that's a big boost for Philippe de Klerk after his troubles last time out in Spa.
Ja, dat was echt een zwaar momentje.
Well, Spa was really the lowest point of our season. We almost gave up hope entirely. Really wasn't sure whether we could fix the damage. We managed to shrug off all our woes though. We put all our effort into repairing the car, together with all our friends and our teammates. We worked an all-nighter, it was worth it, and I'm super happy, so proud of what we accomplished. It's really a small team. We got a very limited budget, limited resources. Most of the time I do everything myself. The racing itself, obviously, of course, but also the preparation, so I'm very proud of this result. Philippe has a 29-point lead, and with only 21 available in race 2, he can no longer be caught. So to the grid for the final IDIS Superlights Challenge race of the season. Pole once more for Deldish Racing. Sam de Jonge will take the start. And with the extra point for pole, they've now got a 17-point advantage. They just need to finish the race to become champions. Second on the grid, the more powerful Radical SR8 of Rob Campus, who finished third in the first race. Joe van Splunteren will do the first stint in the Wolf, starting from third place. They need to win. Well, the rain has stopped as we get ready to go. The track's still wet here in Assen though. And Joe van Splunteren on row 2 of the grid. Sam de Jonge on pole position. Rob Campus made a lightning start to race 1. Here we go again. And a great start this time from Van Splunteren. Dives to the inside. Sam de Jonge being cautious as Rob Campus's Red Radical takes the lead. The Wolf skating up the inside in second. And de Jonge trying to stay out of trouble. Kokopian taking the Group 2 lead. That's the yellow rear end of his car, but around the outside of him goes David Hotoff to retake the lead, and a challenge for the lead here. Joe van Splunteren just holding on in front of Rob Campus. That's the Group 1 and overall race leader. With Dick Freeberg, there's Kokopian. And Freebird goes inside and tries to go around the outside in the battle of the Radicals. There's David Hotoff just in front. Freebird giving away around 45 horsepower to the Norma. He's got slightly better aero in the Radical, but the Norma's power there keeps it in the lead of the Group 2 class. And you can see that Freebird is worried, and down the inside comes the second Norma. That's Philippe de Klerk. He moves up to second place. And Freebird in third. Kokopian right behind in fourth place. Great battle between two different cars. The Radicals with more grip, through on the inside. Freebird back up to second, de Klerk down to third. So one place made bad at Steckenval. And closing in now on David Hotoff in front. Hotoff not finding the grip in the slippery conditions, and Freebird looking to the inside once more. And he retakes the lead of Group 2. Dick Freebird then leading from David Hotoff, Philippe de Klerk, then Kokopian, Tim Josen, the black car, that's a Group 1 effort. Robert de Graaf shares with Philip Ribbons in the white and blue Praga R1. Challenge for second place in Group 2, Philippe de Klerk with the green and white Norma all over the white, blue and black one of David Hotoff, trying to go around the outside. And that was a well-judged move. As he moves up into second though, Dick Freebird has pulled out a big lead. Group 1, Joe van Splunteren leads the race. Rob Campus's Red Radical second. Sam de Jonge in the newer Norma in third spot. On board with Joe van Splunteren, battling for the lead at the start. The Radical heavier but with more power, 255 horsepower in the Wolf. Better aero for the Wolf. It's lighter as well than the 430 horsepower Radical. And there is Rob Campus in front, using his horsepower advantage. But in the end, slightly less power in these damp conditions, but better aero grip. That will help the Wolf driver take the lead. But it's only the first 3 turns that are tight and twisty. And Rob Campus, once he gets some traction, will be able to use the speed advantage of his extra power down the straight. Here on the Feinslang, look at the way he gobbles up the Wolf, which has a 255 horsepower Honda engine, 430 for the Radical. But again, Van Splunteren with the inside line under braking just manages to cling on. It's a great battle between the two of them. All too soon though, Joe Van Splunteren comes out of the gate. Timmer Chicane on his own in the Wolf. Up to second place, Sam de Jong in the Norma M20 FC he shares with Luc de Kock. And the reason? Rob Campus is out. The Radical SR8 has dropped off the timing screens and returns to the pit lane on the end of the tow rope.
Joey goed bijhouden.
What a shame. I was able to keep up with Joey. Would have been an exciting race, says Rob. After the pit stop, I'm sure I would have led. I saw the other Norma disappearing behind me in my rearview mirror, despite the gearbox not working properly. But in spite of the slippery conditions, I was able to stay with the leader, but the gearbox was already playing up on lap 2, and then I had to let Joey go. Yesterday I had the same problem, but it disappeared after 4 laps. I could keep up a good pace, but now the gearbox is just stuck in one gear. I don't know what the problem is. Sad way to end the season. Change for second here in Group 2. Dick Freebird leads, but Cocopion sweeps around the outside of Philippe de Klerk. Radical SR3s now first and second. The Normas down to third and fourth. And David Hotoft in the blue and white Norma under threat from Dominic Dierkes in the lime green and yellow Radical SR3. Looks like the Radicals are coming into this as the conditions continue to improve. Heinz Kramer behind in his Acela, and then Robert de Graaf in the Praga R1. Stay with us as we get to the final stages of the season in the IDIS Superlights Challenge. The Supercar Challenge is powered by Pirelli, Syntix Innovative Lubricants, Autosportinsurance.com, and IDIS High Definition Surveillance Systems. Welcome back to the IDIS Superlights Challenge, the final rounds at the TT Circuit of Assen. In Group 1, the championship remains undecided as we head into the final race of the season. Joey Van Splunteren second in the standings with teammate Jort Schumacher takes the lead. Championship leaders Sam de Jonge and Luc Cocker in second, where they need to be. In the Group 2 category for the slightly older cars, Dick Freebird is our race leader. Cocopion has just taken second from newly crowned champion Philippe de Klerk. It looks like the Radicals are coming into their own. Cocopion in second, ahead of Philippe de Klerk. Then David Hotoft in the battle for fourth. Behind him, Dominic Dierkes, the lime green Radical. And then the black car, Tim Josen, the Tartus. That's a Group 1 car, should be further up the order. He's just got by Robert de Graaf in the Praga R1. Now goes by the Radical, the Praga closed cockpit car on the inside as well. He squeezes through too. And behind them, Heinz Kramer. Well, despite having wet weather tyres, the Tartus struggling here, should be much further up the order and not dicing with the Group 2 cars. Robert de Graaf giving chase, but look, the Radical coming back inside, little bump there. De Graaf tries to hold on, the 2014 Super GT champion. Oh, and has a lunge down the inside. Spin. And contact again, I think, from the Radical, and that also spins. Heinz Kramer's Acela goes through. Well, contact for the Radical puts Dominic Dierkes out of the race.
Yeah, in the first corner, a little misunderstanding. I thought the Tartus will be outside, so I hit him. I'm really sorry for that. That was not what I wanted to do. I wanted to come home safe. Then in the middle of the race, the Praga was a little faster, was behind me, I closed the gap, then he touched me. Nothing happened. And the second time, he hit me quite hard and pulled me out of the race. So that's it. Should not happen, but it happened.
And of course, there are two sides to every story. Yeah, there was contact with the lime green radical, says Robert de Graaf. Early in the race, I was really close behind him. Managed to get by him in the first turn. Then he was leaning on me on the exit of that corner. And then as I turned into the tight hairpin, he was a good distance. Out of the blue though, he bumped into me. He hit me on the rear wheel. I almost spun. Lost a place to him. A lap later, I managed to get close again. Outbraked him into the long right-hander. But he still closed the door. Had to go on the grass. Couldn't slow down. Hit him. And we both ended up spinning. Well, the Praga did continue. Robert de Graaf and Philip Ribbons finishing 5th in Group 2. Luc de Kock watches as teammate Sam de Jonge drops further behind Group 1 leader Joey van Splunteren, but their tactics were to stay out of trouble. The only problem is slowing down might cause errors. It could be a technical issue as well. The team keeping an eye on the competition. De Kock has to complete 50% of his stint to win the title. He knows what can go wrong. He dropped out of the final race 2 years ago when he was favourite to win the Supersport title. Tim Jossen comes in from last in Group 1. Ichiban, the only team with slicks on the pit lane. Two mechanics ready to change the tyres. They've got experience at Audi's LMP1 team. Tim Jossen wasn't happy with the grip on wets. Look, there's yellow paint there on the rear wet. That looks like there was contact earlier on with Dominic Dierkes. He's got 15 result seconds less than Jörg Schumacher, 30 less than Luc de Kock. And the team at work very quickly changing onto those slicks. They make the change within the mandatory 60-second pit stop time. So no time lost. That's sterling work from Ichiban Racing. Ready to send their man on his way. Sam de Jonge is in. Luc de Kock will take over. De Jonge has managed to stay out of trouble, and that was their plan. My job is to take it easy. Van Splunteren and Schumacher have nothing to lose. We've got something to win here. It's the only thing I can do. I've got to say thanks to IDIS Racing for the chance they've given me. I just had to keep the car in one piece in the first stint and try and make them the champions. And to do it, I've got to put my ego aside, let the leader go. So I resisted the temptation to battle Joey. Sounds easy, but as a racer, you always want to compete. But it was the smartest thing to do, so be it. Jörg Schumacher has taken over from leader Joey van Splunteren, still leading the race in the Wolf GB08. Second place, Luc de Kock. And third place as a result of that quick pit stop is Tim Jossen. But has changing onto slicks been a gamble too much by Ichiban Racing?
We hebben het risico genomen. We vroegen aan Tim op de radio of dat hij wou overschakelen.
Well, we took the gamble going on to slicks. We asked Tim over the radio what he wanted. He immediately said he wanted to change the slips. He had no grip on the wets. So we put preheated slicks on the first couple of laps. It was really tricky. But every lap now, the times are improving. He's the quickest man on the track. So far, so good. We'll have to see, he says. Well, what they're seeing is that Tim Jossen has closed down Luc de Kock in second place. On the drying line, he's got lots of grip, but trying to move offline is fraught with danger. He looks to the inside and nearly loses it completely. However, he sticks to his task, and by the end of the lap, he is back with Luc de Kock, taking second place on the grippy line at the get to chicane. And then he sets off after the leader, chasing down Jörg Schumacher. Schumacher, remember, must win this race to stand a chance of beating de Kock and de Jonge for the championship. But here at Dickersot, the slicks come into play and the lead changes. Tim Jossen finds the traction he needs as Jörg Schumacher drifts out wide, and it's a change for the lead in Group 1, but not overall, because remarkably, the Radical SR3 of Dick Freebird in Group 2 is our race leader. He finished second in Race 1, and now he is the overall race winner. Tim Jossen takes second, Jörg Schumacher finishes third in the Wolf, while behind Kokopian in fourth almost laps David Hottoft's Norma, which led early on in the race. So in their first year in the IDIS Superlights Challenge and their first with a CN prototype, IDIS Racing win the Group 1 championship title.
Dat is fantastisch, ja. Laat ons zeggen.
Just fantastic, says Luke. Sam did all the hard work. I only had to finish. Everything was perfect. Very pleased. Temi Osen wins his first Group 1 race after he also made his debut in a CM prototype this season, and all because he gambled on those slicks. Early on, I was getting really depressed. Everything was going horribly. Can't say anything good about the handling of the car at the beginning of the race. I had no grip. We had nothing to lose. So we decided to go to slicks because the dry line was slowly appearing. First 2 laps after tyre change was still a nightmare. Slowly but surely, the handling was improving with each lap, though. And here we are. First place, finally. Temi Osen almost caught York Schumacher and Joey van Splunteren for second in the championship as the CM prototypes make up the top 3 spots against the more powerful Radical SR8s. But in the final race for Group 2, the Radicals were dominant. Dick Freebird winning in his SR3 ahead of fellow SR3 driver and 2013 champion Co Copian, with the enormous of David Hottoft and Philippe de Klerk in 3rd and 4th. Dick Freeberg not only winning in his group, but overall on the very slippery TT circuit.
Ja, het was tricky, want...
Conditions very tricky, said Dick. We noticed the track was slowly drying, but it was still very wet offline, so tyre choice was really hard. We decided we had to go with wets. First laps were really good, made up a couple of places and had a good pace. In free practice on Friday, we were also very quick and used that setup to our advantage. So we had high hopes, and everything worked out really well. Behind our champion Philippe de Klerk, look at the battle for second. Tied on points, Paul Salius and Heinz Kramer. Salius couldn't start race 2, but he won it on the tiebreak. Wim Uris just a single point further back. Remarkable stuff. And that's it for the IDIS Superlights Challenge Season 2015. Next year, the IDIS Superlights Challenge returns with the same format but with 6 rounds in Germany, Slovakia, Belgium and the Netherlands. We'll see you then. The Supercar Challenge is powered by Pirelli, Syntix Innovative Lubricants, Autosportinsurance.com and IDIS High Definition Surveillance Systems.